Hello and hey, today we're messing around with golf with your friends. This time going to be the Haunted Classic updated guide for 2020. We have the new UI, we have the new physics. Let's get you ready to demolish this spoopy course. Hole number one, there's basically nothing to it but to just do it, and it's a pretty specific shot. 3 and like a 16th, like it's kind of a weird descriptor, but you have to go basically exactly this power, aim right at the hole, and you will Kobe it. Hole 2, I'm not a big fan of this hole anymore, but we need to aim kind of just right here. There's a lot of different powers that work. We need to just catch the rim of the hole and then come back with that. It's very specific, so don't be surprised if you don't get it. This course has a ton of holes that are just like that. Hole number 3, aim at the right side of what I call these buckles. We go 2 and about an 1/8 power. Slide right on into this hole right here. Hole 4, we'll go over to the right here and go back to hole number 3. This is a very specific shot, and you won't get a chance if you don't sink it quick enough. So, got to be pretty on that to get it. Again, this course has a lot of holes like that. Hole number 5, you need to go for a 2, so I like going to the corner of this little raised corner piece at full power, and then following that up with another full power shot at this little marking of the wood. Let me go kind of quick here because I didn't anticipate necessarily getting it. I thought I'd be really, really close, if not getting it outright. And that's how we ended up right here for hole number 5. Hole 6, you can mess around by going on the cart, but it does kind of mess with your UI a little bit. So we like to go basically diagonal from our start to get us a little bit of an angle to be able to shoot. A hole in one is definitely possible for this. We just want to go for something that's a little more consistent, and so I've chosen to go for those 2 shots that you see before you. Hole number 7, we want to aim right about here, taking a tiny little bit of power off. We have to wait for the ghost to round the corner, and as soon as we see that white for just a little bit, we want to fire the shot off, and we'll be able to sneak down and in that hole. Again, another very specific shot on a course that has a lot of those. Hole 8, I want to take just a little bit of power off of full, about a 1/6 at most, because we need to hit that dead center with just enough power to not fly over. Very tough. Hole 9, going to aim with this line right here, full power. If you're going to miss a little bit to the right, I think is the way to go. And then lining up our second shot, we want to aim 2 up the hill and 2 from the left side. Again, full power. That'll get us right in the hole there. I could have gone a little bit more right and been safer, but that's where we'll be for hole 9's Albatross. And then hole 10, I would not recommend trying this shot either. However, we go just under full power, aiming right here. This is a pixel perfect shot because we need to bounce on top of these and come back off this back wall. It is very hard to go to the right of the hole, so to get enough to come back is tough and not recommended. And speaking of not recommended, if you want a pixel perfect shot, we go full power right here, hole number 11. We bounce off the ram statue and go straight into that hole. It does actually reset you, so that's why it has to be so quick, and we just kind of get lucky enough. I had a buddy north of the border help me out with that shot and this shot. We're going to go about 3 1/4, 3 1/3 at most, kind of aiming directly right here. The angle again is pixel perfect. And once again, you have to be quick enough to get down before it resets you. So this course has a lot of holes like this. Hole 13, we want to aim 1 tile over at the base of these books. And we want to go 3 and about 1/4 power. A 1/5 is fine as well, because we're going to go book to wall sometimes, to hill other times. But at any rate, it'll get us here. A hole in 1 might be possible. It just is going to be something that eludes me for the present moment. And hole 14, this is actually way more specific than it looks. We're going to take a little bit of power off and go left of the straight line here. And we want to release the ball when there's just about to be those bubbles coming up. that kicks us down through there as easy as it possibly can, and you always kind of drift a little bit right, which is why we started going left at the start of that hole. Hole 15, I got a nice little specific setup here. Aim the left part of our cursor at the very left side of that raised corner, which will get us to here, and we want to go full power at that little bit of the baby's head that we could see, which is just a fun sentence, and that will get us simple 2. I almost overcorrected with that. You want to be careful with the coming back shot that you see there, but full power should work most of the time. In hole 16, there is a crease down there. We want to end up on the right side of it, and we want to go just under 3.5 power. We'll let that go. We'll bounce around here. It'll set us up for that nice little hole in the bookcase. We want to aim at the binding of that orange book nearest to us and go just over 3 power. I give it probably a tiny bit too much. You see I hit up high, and I have a little bit too much power coming back here, so I either wanted to hit it a little harder, which I don't think I could have, or a little bit less, which would have kept us in the bowl. But either way, a tough 2, but a fun 2. Hole 17, a very specific shot again. We're going to aim just right of this intersection. That'll get us to bounce up on these webs and then down to this part where you can end up in one of several different places. But for this particular shot, we will be shooting at this buckle. Sometimes you'll end up back behind us and you'll want to shoot towards this line right here. But for our shot, we're going for a buckle. We're going for like 3 and like about a third-ish. And that'll get you pretty close most of the time. I happen to go in this time with a very clean shot, but because you end up in so many different places, don't expect that every single time. And lastly, hole 18. I don't know how many shots this is going to take me. I'm just going to kind of let it fly as I aim one tile over in like either 6 or 8, depending on what I feel like at the start. We go full power left of this crease on the second shot, which gets us to here. And from here, you have to be like pixel perfect with your power, or else you will come flying out because this tree thing is broken. So if you go a little bit too fast, you end up going way too high, and you bounce off and can't quite make it. Or if you go just a little bit too far, like you're going slow enough, but you don't have the right bounce off the ceiling, it'll kick you out of it. So that's what goes on here. If you go even less power, again, just barely making it through these broken baby statues, you will get kicked out again. And so what we have to do on this last attempt, which I believe we'll have here, is go even less power, because if you just barely make it, you can hit on the flat part of the land and you will just barely be able to stay in again. I don't know why this is bouncing ground. I don't know what happened to this hole, but if you look out at the statues, the heads are in the chests, which is a little bit strange. And then we need to just knock it in and just be happy if you get a par here. A 3 should be what you should be getting most of the time, but the course just doesn't really allow it at this present moment. I don't know if that'll get fixed. I don't know anything like that. But this is one of the harder courses, and this is kind of what a guide would look like if I did all the crazy shots for all of the holes, which unfortunately, I don't think is as replicatable and kind of makes a worse product. And then going forward, for the last 3 courses that I have not done yet, I'm going to leave those videos that I have that are current on my channel up because they all have the new physics. I know Space Station and Worms do not have the updated UI, but they kind of work enough. Museum isn't quite as clean as I would like to make it, but until I get around to it, these are going to be the last of the things. So tell me what you liked about the new updated guides, what you think I can improve on if I were to come back to them. I know we've cut to black, but this is something I normally do. And other than that, I appreciate you sticking with me. I appreciate you watching to the end of the video and all this fun stuff. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And as always, be safe, guys.